I hope everybody can hear her. But thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the BIPOC Independent Grocers Virtual Roundtable. I am Lakeisha Gathers Flowers, Senior Manager, Executive Office, and Liaison to the Board of Directors here at the National Grocers Association. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items. This webinar, as y'all see, is being recorded. To ensure clean recording, we have muted all of you and disabled your cameras as well, but you can use the chat as you are now. We welcome questions, which will be addressed during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. And you can submit your questions using the Q&A button in your Teams webinar screen. I'm going to refer to our antitrust statements. If it's queued up on the screen, we take antitrust laws seriously at NGA. So during the presentation, please refrain from any conversations about price fixing. There we are. And for this virtual roundtable, we are welcoming business leaders who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color from among retailers, wholesalers, and suppliers. These owners, operators, and executives have compelling stories to tell us about their entrepreneurial successes and challenges of the grocery business. We'll also share some information about the National Grocers Association, the NGA Foundation programs and events, and offer a chance to pose questions to our panel of experts you see there. And now I have the honor of introducing you to Joy Nicholas. Hey, Joy, our moderator for this panel discussion. Joy has been engaged in the food retail industry for more than 35 years. Her extensive network of grocery retail and consumer packaged goods industry leaders gives her a 360 perspective of food retail technology. She actively facilitates the NGA CIO Share Group and has been a successful industry consultant in the emerging retail technology space. During her career, Joy held various executive positions for retail technology providers, industry trade show groups, and nonprofit organizations that represent the food retail industry. She was directly responsible for conducting industry research in areas such as retail technology, electronic payments, representing Grocers on Swipe Fees initiatives, and industry standards. Joy is a co-founder, former board member, scholarship committee chair, and active advocate for the Network of Executive Women, Now Next Up, and she received the Top Women in Grocery Award in 2017 by Progressive Grocer. She is a retired adjunct professor of business management at Austin Community College. Joy will now greet you and introduce you to all of our panelists. Thank you so much, Joy, for moderating this discussion.
Thank you, Lakeisha. I'm a little concerned that I actually put on makeup today to be seen on camera, but since I can't be, that's fine. Everybody else looks fabulous. Anyway, thank you for that introduction and thank you for having me. I'm very excited to introduce the panel that we have today, starting with Katina Holliday. She is a leading visionary in California's fight against the homeless crisis. She's the founder and CEO of Holiday's Helping Hands. This is an avant-garde approach to reducing homelessness and has helped hundreds of families. In addition to founding this organization, Katina has made a seismic impact on her hometown of Aberdeen, Mississippi by building a 30,000-foot shopping center, The Point, which includes an urgent care facility and a 20,000 square foot grocery store, Freshly's Market. Katina has also founded HHH Real Estate Investments, which among other endeavors is providing temporary housing to those displaced by natural disasters and other factors. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree from Azusa Pacific University and her MSN, as well as her MSN and as a family nurse practitioner. You wear a lot of hats, Katina. Welcome. You want to wave to everybody? That's Katina here.
Thank you.
Next we have Antonio Roberts, who is a produce specialist for the Associated Wholesale Grocers with 19 plus years experience in the grocery retail space. Antonio had the opportunity to work for a Fortune 500 grocers retail chain. He's managed and helped manage stores ranging from $1 million a week to $250,000 a week. Currently, his passion is supporting independent grocers and helping with creative ideas to help improve merchandising freshness and sales in the produce department. Thank you, and welcome, Antonio.
Hey, thank you.
Next, we have Percy Miller, AKA Master P. I don't know how many of you are familiar with him, but I am. He's an entrepreneurial businessman, philanthropist, music mogul, producer, and entertainer. He's also a serial entrepreneur and believes ownership is the way to success. He's created numerous products and brands such as Snoop Cereal, Icon Noodles, and potato chips, LA Great Rice, snacks and beverages, Magnati clothing and shoes, Master Clean Life household cleaning products. He's done television and movies. In addition, he's played for 2 NBA teams, the Charlotte Hornets, Toronto Raptors, and he encourages others to own and have control over their careers and ultimately their livelihood. He's also the founder of You Are Not Alone Foundation and the Team Hope Foundation, servicing at-risk youth and senior citizens in communities across the US. Master P, Percy, would you like to say hello? Thank you and welcome. Are you there? Oh, he's on mute. Lakeisha, you need to unmute and turn on Percy's camera, please, while I introduce Dami.
He's had it allowed. He just hasn't, he has to hit the unmute button himself as well.
Okay. Last but not least is Dami Odatello. He is a supplier with the National Cooperative Bank. He's vice president at the bank, and he's responsible for providing banking solutions to food cooperatives, independent grocery retailers, and purchasing cooperatives on the East Coast. Since joining the bank in 2008, Dami has served in various positions, including relationship manager for the National Bank's risk management department, and he's an avid promoter of cooperatives and has advised state and national governments on the impact and importance of the cooperative business model. He's also an active volunteer in multiple organizations and a passionate photographer and serves on many different boards. Dami, welcome to the panel. I'm very excited about moderating this panel because you all have such an amazingly different background and wonderful opportunities to support the independent grocers. So it's very exciting to have you all spend time with us today. We do have limited time, and so I'm going to pose some questions. Let me go ahead and get started. Let me start with Katina, because I think as the only retailer on our panel, I think your story is pretty amazing after reading your bio. How and why did you become an independent grocer?
So, to make a long story even longer, our town became a food desert because we ended up closing one of the grocery stores in town. And our grocery store, the 30,000 square foot building that I had built, was supposed to be housed by Piggly Wiggly. So I was excited that Piggly Wiggly would be renting from us and owning that store. But it turned out Piggly Wiggly was unable to do that. And so with them being unable to do that, it was like, okay, what are we going to do? Our town is now a food desert. And so with it being a food desert, it was COVID. We reached out to a lot of organizations or grocery store chains, and it was like, do you have grocery experience? If you don't have grocery experience, then you can't open a grocery store. So I understand that now after opening the grocery store, to say the least. But with that being said, we ended up branding our own grocery store, naming it Freshly's, where everything is healthy, happy, and fresh. And so now we have Freshly's Market in Aberdeen and going to be across the US too.
I have to unmute myself. There we go. That's amazing. While you're talking about your store, can you just tell us a little bit about the community you serve and the impact you've had on your community since opening that store?
Yes, absolutely. The community I serve, of course, is Aberdeen, Mississippi. It's a small town. We have about 5,000 residents there in the town. And so the majority of our clients are African American and white Americans, with a few Hispanics that now have came into the town. But that is currently the community that I serve.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm sure they appreciate you being there.
They do. And we are part of the community. And, you know, we do a lot of things with the community and with the schools, as providing scholarships to the students there in the city of Aberdeen, and also providing jobs for them as well. We had a senior class of 10 this past year, and we brought them all out to LA to let them experience that as well. So we do a lot for the community.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Great work. Antonio, you work on the other side of the supermarket industry or the retail industry relative to an industry wholesaler. Can you share information about AWG and how they serve the independent operators and the role that you play at AWG?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So AWG is the national largest co-op food wholesaler. We serve over 1,100 members. We have over 3,400 different locations for the member stores that we serve across 31 states. So kind of our mission, AWG's mission is to empower the independent grocer with the tools and product and service that can to be competitive in the market. So, in kind of my role, my role is to empower the independent grocer in the produce department to kind of, make that a highlight department. And kind of what I do is I help with the merchandising piece, I help with the ordering piece, I help with the training. That's kind of what my role is when it comes to really impacting the from the store part.
That's awesome. And you, I love the fact that you are promoting the healthy eating relative to produce. What actually got you into the food industry? What was your influence?
Yeah, really, it's the passion for people. I had the opportunity to be mentored by a lot of great leaders, and been mentored just understanding the grocery business. So just the passion for people, just understanding that kind of the reason why I'm doing it, just understanding that I'm serving a lot of families and I'm helping a lot of families. If it's with fresh eating, if it's just understanding grocery in general, just the importance of it.
That's awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Dami. Oh, here we go. I know that you work for a bank. What synergy does your business have with the independent grocer sector? That's a very important, financing is a very important aspect of independent operators.
Absolutely. Can everybody hear me? Can I just thumbs up, Antonio, if you can? Okay, good.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in a hotel lobby here in New Jersey. I came here for an annual meeting, so I had to find a little space to join. I must start by saying that Katina is my hero. I know it's not an easy thing for you to start a grocery store. So, Katina, good job. On what I do, what the synergy we bring to the independent grocer is we provide financing. And the way we provide financing, I think, is the difference between typical bank and the National Co-op Bank. The National Co-op Bank has been in the grocery industry for about 40 years. And we come to each financing with a lot of industry insight and a consultative way of approaching the financing your store. There have been many grocers that typical banks will not be able to finance, but we have found creative ways to be able to finance them. The industry, as Katina will tell you, or Antonio, is the margins are not the greatest. So we have to find ways of making sure that we can be creative around providing financing for the stores. And the other thing that is important is we play a lot with, play being an operational word here, we work a lot with the leaders in the industry, like the NGAs of this world or the FMIs, but in this case, the NGA, and also with the leading resources in the co-op industry. So NCB finances co-ops, and we also finance independent grocers.
That is a wonderful opportunity that I had not heard of before relative to being specific about financing for independents. So you are an incredible resource for the industry. And I'm really glad that you're here to share your story. That's wonderful. Percy, are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear
There.
me?
Yes,
All
we can
right.
hear you. We can't see you, but that's okay.
Wait up. You can't see me?
Nope, they can't see me
No,
either.
we can see
Percy.
you, Percy. We just
Oh,
can't
you
see
can?
Joy. Yeah, sorry,
Oh.
Joy. It's just you.
It's just me. Okay. Okay, Percy,
Yeah.
welcome, welcome. Can you just tell the group how and why you invested in food ownership? I know that you wear a lot of hats, extremely entrepreneurial, extremely successful, extremely connected. What brought you to the food and food ownership and food industry?
Well, for me, I discovered that it was a problem when you look at like Aunt Your Mama and Uncle Ben. We thought those products was owned by African Americans, and they wasn't. And me and Snoop got together and said, okay, let's come up with products and brands that's owned by us to build economic empowerment. I grew up as a kid going into the grocery stores, buying those brands. My grandmother made me go to the store, get the Uncle Ben rice, get the Aunt Your Mama pancakes and syrup. And we brought that thinking that this was owned by a Black person. And as we grew up and realized that it's not, and I start realizing that the way we build economic empowerment, we have to own these products. And what me and Snoop looked at, that it was nobody looked like us in a breakfast food game. And so we wanted to change that. We got Snoop cereal, I can show you guys. I mean, like one of the top brands in the game now. And we also got Mama Snoop oatmeal. So we're constantly growing. Our mission is to take over the breakfast industry and to have real Black-owned product that we create for everybody: whites, Asians, Latinos, Blacks, Indians. We want to make products that we can sell to everybody, but owned by us, because we want to add diversity onto the grocery store shelves. So that was the reason I got into it. The same reason I got into the music industry. Like I wanted to add some diversity into the hip hop game to where it's ownership by us.
That's awesome. And we need leaders like you to continue that effort for sure.
Yes.
We appreciate that. Awesome. So Katina, back to you. Who has been your business allies or cheerleaders, mentors? Who has helped you with your success? Dami's volunteering for that.
No, I just wanted to say I'm a fan.
Oh.
I'm a big fan.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, because it's definitely to me that I was going to own a grocery store, and I laughed at the idea, but I trust God. So when he told me that I was going to own a grocery store, I'm like, okay. Didn't have no idea, even when I was building the shopping plaza and was building that grocery store for someone else, that I would be the owner of it, to say the least. But definitely my business allies have been Mitchell's Distribution, who distributes our groceries to the grocery store. Like they came in and, from the grocery carts, like giving you the information and the resources and all the little things that grocery store niche that you don't think of, right? And definitely NGA and the connections that I'm meeting with you guys has been wonderful. At the last NGA event that I was at, I was able to get someone that really knows the grocery industry that's going to consult with us, which, all businesses, for me, being a nurse, I take my assessment, my plan, and all that stuff, and I put it all together. But to know just that grocery store niche and your profit and loss margins in the grocery store industry, I'm like, I don't know that. But, being in the connection and getting in the right space with the right people have totally helped me. And I thank NGA for that.
That's awesome. NGA provides an enormous amount of resources to independent operators, and we'll hear more about that in just a minute. But that's great. We all need our champions in life. Antonio, can you just tell me, what do you feel the independent grocery industry needs to do when it comes to equitable, diverse, and inclusive spaces for grocers of color and Black-owned food brands? What do you think? What would be your advice?
Yeah. So just kind of what I'm seeing when I'm in stores, okay, and what I see other groups and communities doing is that we have to take our are minority. So we have to take our Black-owned small businesses and we need to start installing them into our stores. Okay, so if you notice that a lot of other races, right, you'll see that product being brought to their stores. And I think as a people, we got to start bringing our products in. I think we can start utilizing other groups, or using like our groups and helping our stores to help that grow from that perspective. So that's one of the things that I see. Also, we need to start creating and identifying great leaders to actually take on these stores. And then also looking at opportunity. So kind of like if it's food deserts, right? There's key communities that have food deserts that we can actually start building our stores into. Um, so that's just kind of the things that I'm seeing overall when I'm in stores, and what I see from a different perspective. When I'm in the store, what I see other people doing that I think we can also bring to our stores.
And that's awesome. I totally agree. I know there are many, well, not many, but several African American broker organizations out there that are trying to help find entry into some of the larger grocery stores, and I'm sure that they would be more than willing to help some of the Black products get into those stores. So yeah, that's great, and especially when the wholesalers will support that effort. That's a start. Percy, can you add to that, given that you have already launched your products, and kind of talk about the opportunity to get those in the store and creating more equitable, diverse, and inclusive spaces for your products and for Black or people of color owning stores?
Yeah, I think the most important thing, we got to know that we can do it. We can create products just like other cultures have been doing. They've been building family brands. When you look at Kellogg, look at all, these are family names. And that's what me and Snoop decided to say, let's create Brothers Foods. Let's create something that'll be here when we're not here. Let's create something that family members can get involved in. We could build generational wealth, but we can also open up the doors for other minority-owned companies to say, you know what, those guys did it, we could do it. A lot of these companies started out of their garage, just started out of their houses. I think we are afraid. We keep thinking that we can't do this. And I think that we are showing our culture that we can. You look at all these Fortune 500 companies, we make 0.1%. We talk about African Americans, and we need to change that narrative. And that's what we are doing, saying that, these products and brands are making billions of dollars, but none of that is coming back to our community and our culture. So the way we change that, we have to create our own, and that's what we're doing. And so I just want to show people that if me and Snoop could do this, then guess what? We all could do this. Like now we're able to, we always talk about the past. We can't change the past, but we can change the future. One of my mentors that I look up to is Reginald Lewis. Why should white guys have all the fun? That book that he has out. I mean, that's so important to me because that let me know back in the time when he was around, he was able to build $1 billion business and did it from nothing. And people don't talk about this, but that was in the grocery food industry. And so I'm so happy for that. That let me know that we can do it. And so we're going to change that narrative. We're going to keep fighting. It's not going to be easy. I think a lot of us want it to happen overnight. We have to trust the process and stay on the journey, and those doors are gonna open up.
That's awesome. And I totally agree with you. I think there are many opportunities, and we just have to take advantage of those and have leaders and mentors like you in the industry to help everybody else.
But think about
Johnny.
this. I want to say one thing. Think about this, right? We done had a Black president. They say we wasn't gonna have a Black president, but we don't have a Black owner of a cereal company. Now we got grocery stores. We conquering these games because we get caught up thinking that we can't do this. And so that's the mindset I want to change from our people. They had a lot of great leaders. I mean, people done lost their lives in on these journeys. Look at Dr. Martin Luther King, all the people that done fought for civil rights and freedom. Like we are here now. Now it's time to take advantage of this journey on building resources, building finances. We got bankers, we got all these different things, like, and people that look like us. Look at this panel. This is people that look like us, working in these stores, creating stores, being a part of these chains, being on the financial side. We have to use these resources. I feel like we're stronger together, but we don't connect the way they do. These other cultures, they are connected. We don't do that. We wait till we fall off or something happen, and we laugh and talk about each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really have to know that we can do this together. Look at when we march in the middle of the streets and look how we come together with all these different cultures. Now I'm saying, have a plan. What do we want? Like how we connecting right now. Let's figure out how to really take advantage of this and work together. I mean, it's enough for all of us. It's not like we can't take this with us. So it's like, it's enough to work with. That's my mission to be on this call today, is how can we work together and change that narrative that we don't work together? Because that's we got to have some type of unity. That all these other cultures are winning because of the unity.
And Percy, I second that, and I do think that will resonate with folks, especially if we have a follow-up gathering at the NGA show in Vegas in March. I think that we should continue that leadership and that guidance and getting people together at that show. That's a start. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Donnie, I don't want to, I would love for you to answer this question from a financial perspective in terms of what the independent grocery industry needs when it comes to creating equitable and diverse inclusion. From a financing point of view, what can you share with us?
So I was going to start by asking a couple of questions from Mr. Miller, because he just said all the things I was going to say. That's not nice, sir. I was going to ask you, the first question I was going to ask you is, are your products in Katina's store?
You know what? And I'm glad I'm on there. I'm going to get it in there. I'm going to make sure I get it in there.
Because the next question, exactly. The next question I was going to ask was, there's a lot of talk. A lot of people talk. We get around on this seminars, this webinars, this Zoom calls, and we have a lot of conversations. But then what next? Is there an action plan after this? And Mr. Miller, my next question to you is, why don't we have a chain of stores called Snoop's? Snoop's store or something. I mean, you can imagine how many things. I mean, just imagine the branding of Snoop owning a store. The most popular shoes are called. Mr. Miller, can you tell me the most popular shoes? What are they called?
Nike.
Well, Nike, but Jordan, right? I mean, it's
Jordan.
It's Jordan, because I mean, if Snoop brands anything, maybe it will sell, because that's always, you were talking about the Kellogg's of this world and all of that good stuff. I see behind you Snoop's and all of that good stuff. I'm like, that's what matters. If I see something that is Snoop's, I would like to buy it for different reasons, which I'm not going to go into.
This, right? When we first came out with this brand, they wanted me and Snoop to put our face on it. They wanted us to be a celebrity brand. I said, no. This is, when you look at this character, it's Captain A's. We have educational curriculums with this. This is not just cereal. This is bigger than cereal. And so, but they wanted to keep this a secret. So when we first got into Walmart, they wanted our faces on. We said, no, imagine if it take us 2 to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years to blow this up. At the end of the day, when this thing go to the next level, people are going to realize that we didn't want this just to be a celebrity brand, but we know that we could sell a lot of product. And that's why we call it Snoop cereal instead of just based in on entertainment, because we want this to go beyond us. And so you're exactly right with what you're saying. My thing is, I want our people to know that we are fighting for us on the front line. People looked at us like we was crazy. Like if we wasn't successful already, we wouldn't be able to do this. To be honest, it's so tough going to these banks, going to these different places, even going to our own people saying, let's do this together. We're going to build this big brand. Are you down with us? I could get more people to go on vacation and go hang out in a club than I could say, let's put some money together to go create a product or a brand that one day we could feed our families with. So you right on it. I mean, I'm fighting for the cause, man. I'm out here. There's nobody look like me out here doing this, and I'm going to keep fighting that battle until we get there. And it's more of me. Same way in the music industry. I started out, it was just me. They didn't think that we could do this independently. So we end up selling 100 million records. So imagine now in this game that we're conquering this. And I eat, sleep, and drink this. I'm like, if I could have did this in the music industry, why can't I do it in a breakfast food game? So we're gonna need you guys' help. We're gonna need you guys' help. So I'm in. Whoever want to take this journey with me, let's go.
Percy,
So I expect to see you. I expect to see. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. In the sake of time, in the interest of time, in the hour that we have, we have a lot of questions in the chat from our guests who are on the call. So I would just like to ask each of you to just, if you could give me one, like really, 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 really extremely brief piece of advice that you would give to the next generation that's on this call relative to getting into the food industry. That would be great, because we still have a little bit on our agenda to cover, and then we want us to have enough time for the Q&A, which I think is going to be very rich. So Tina,
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dami. You can go first.
No, I'm just going to keep it very short. And the journey will be lonely. I know Katina will talk about that. It'll be lonely and tough and crazy, but please communicate. Keep your numbers. I'm sorry, I'm a finance guy, so keep your numbers and your books clean as much as possible. Take advantage of all the resources that you can have that comes your way. Just grab the name, grab the person, grab the number, send an email, ask questions as much as you can. And what is next for you after this call? What next? That's my advice for you.
That's a good setup for the NGA folks. Tina, what nugget of advice do you have?
Definitely start with why you want to do it, because it's always important to line up your passion, your purpose, because that'll help direct you and guide you, right? Definitely a mentor, asking questions, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And then understanding your target customers and existing market. That's all important in the grocery industry.
Excellent. Thank you. Antonio.
I have to agree with Tina. One of the major things I see when some of the good retailers are doing it is that they have a passion for people. Okay, they have a purpose on why they're doing it, and they have a vision. So that's some of the key things I see. So if you really want to get into this business, it has to be more than just making money. It has to be why you're doing it and what is it for.
Excellent. And Percy, to wrap it up.
Yes. Put your trust and faith in God. Never give up. Consistency. Going to take hard work, dedication, and make the non-believers believe. Just by keep going. It's not a race. It's a marathon. And I'll see y'all there.
Awesome. And I appreciate, thank you all for your insight. And I know that the chat box is full because y'all have been so generous with your commentary. But I need to turn it over to our NGA because there's some programs that they also want you to know about. So I want, for over 40 years, the NGA has represented independent community grocers located in every district across the country. The wholesalers that service them are also associate members. So I want to introduce you to Chelsea Matson, Vice President of the National Grocers Association Foundation, who will share some brief information about the foundation's work and supporting the careers of independent grocers and the value of NGA membership. Chelsea, all yours.
Hi, thanks, Joy. Hi, everybody. My name is Chelsea Matson. As Joy said, I've been with the National Grocers Association for a couple of years now. I do really want to acknowledge how great this panel has been. I know that I am not a BIPOC person. I'm just the person who works in our foundation programs. So I'm here to talk about those, and I don't want to take up too much space here. I really want to be aware of that. The National Grocers Association represents independent grocers across the country. By independent, we mean privately held businesses. The foundation is our 501c3, it's our nonprofit arm. So that is really dedicated to supporting the careers of independent grocers. How do we help grocers recruit, train, and retain employees in their businesses? And then we also offer technical assistance. We kind of do all these programs across 5 pillars: diversity and inclusion, leadership development, industry promotion, student programs, and technical assistance. I'll talk about diversity and inclusion in a second because that's kind of the highlight for this. But in leadership development, we have an executive leadership development program that we do with Cornell University. We have a career center that we do with industry promotion. For student programs, we offer scholarships. We do a student case study competition. We're constantly trying to drive people into the pipeline of grocery and show them what kind of careers can be here. And then on technical assistance, we do a lot of work with grocers and nutrition incentives, as well as helping them go through the SNAP Online process. So specifically for diversity and inclusion, this is one of our newer efforts. I'll acknowledge that. I'm really excited to be having this this roundtable, and it's definitely part of our journey on supporting Black individuals and Black Indigenous people of color. We have Women Grocers of America that's helping to drive diversity in terms of gender within the industry and support their professional development. We offer diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships for different leadership programs. So we have 2 of those for our executive leadership development program. We also offer them some of our other programs. And then we also offer scholarships to try and encourage folks to chase careers that will take them independent grocery. And some of those are more focused on diverse individuals, but that's where we're starting. We're looking to do more support. If you have ideas about programs or sessions or education that you're looking for, we're really excited to try and provide that. In the larger organization across National Grocers Association, we represent different members. We have retail members, wholesaler members, associate members. So we really try and represent the entire industry. We're a full service trade organization. We do a lot of policy on the Hill, talking to people in Congress to have good regulations and policies. We really focus on peer-to-peer networking and establishing connections and relationships and trying to connect people so that you feel like you have peers to lean on. We're also trying to help folks see trends in the industry, up and coming technology. We'll do media relations and support, all those kinds of things. And when members come, they're looking for us to help them level the playing field, help them identify trends, help them understand labor and employment policies, or train their labor, which is what we do at the foundation side, and just to look to grow their businesses and what are the best ways to be doing that. And then, as Joy kind of mentioned, so this is the first of our virtual roundtable, but we're really excited to announce that at our NGA show in Las Vegas this year, we're going to do an in-person version of this that we're really excited to bring people together for. We're going to meet up at our show floor, have another group discussion, and then also kind of go tour our show floor, talk to some of these suppliers and different folks. So we really hope that you'll consider coming to Las Vegas and meeting us there. It's a really great opportunity. So with that, I'll be quiet now.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. I know that was brief. I know you went really quick, but I know that you can also find all of that information on NGA's website for anybody who needs additional information. And I really do look forward to seeing everybody in Las Vegas. I think we're on time for our Q&A. I know I've seen several messages come in through the chat. I'm going to ask Jim, who's been moderating the chat box, to post some of the questions that have come through the panelists, and we can finish up with that. Jim, do you have? I know you have a lot, so I'm going to let you manage that process.
Yes, they've been coming in fast and furious all during the. It's been a lot of activity in the chat today. A lot of questions and comments, and a lot of yes, yes, yes. This is awesome kind of reactions here. So terrific! Great job to all our panelists today. Going back to one of the first questions that was posted a while back. How can city governments most effectively help expand the presence of BIPOC independent grocers, and where is the funding needed specifically in order to make this space more equitable and for more markets to locally source Black grown produce and value added products?
Does Dami, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I'm not I don't write grants I mean, we give grants out very small, but I can tell you that, again, this is where resources matter. I know that city governments have a lot of grants and awards that they give out to different organizations that help with grocers. I mean, I have a ton at a capital stack. Sometimes anywhere between 10 to 20% of that capital stack is from the city on the different programs. But the truth is that is where the work of the entrepreneur or the co-op starts. You need to do the research to find out what your city is doing, or is it, because there must be something, especially after COVID. There was a lot that was rolled out. So I would ask that you should please do the research. There are also organizations on the co-op side and on the independent, like NGO, can lead you to a lot of resources that can help you to find those places. But there are grants and awards that that cities have.
And I would also like to add to that. I'm in Austin, Texas, and the city of Austin actually has an incredible small business division that provides resources and money to entrepreneurs and small business owners. So you should definitely check out your city and your state government resources for small businesses. Percy, did you want to add anything to that? Oh, go ahead.
So one other thing that I need to say, if you're not Percy Miller or Snoop, you really, I mean, everybody needs somebody, so you have to reach out.
Yes. Yes.
It's just, you're not Katina, by the way, who's to reach out. You just have to find people to partner with.
Great. Great. Jim, next question.
We have an audience member who has a question specifically for Katina, wants to know how she has been able to handle the day-to-day operations of her store, being new to the industry.
So definitely that has had its set of challenges. And the fact that I am bi-coastal from Mississippi to California has been has its own set of challenges. But we do have a great team that's in place, because it takes a team to make a dream. We don't become successful alone. So definitely I have a strong team, managers with 29 plus years experience that helps run that store. And so, you know, we meet with them weekly and make sure that everything is in line and in order the Freshly's way. So thanks for that question.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you, Tina. Jim?
We've got an unknown user who wants to talk to Percy about a more healthy breakfast product to bring to market. We don't know your name, but whoever you are, unknown user, if you're still listening, reach out to us at NGA and we'll make sure to pass that information along. And hopefully you can have that conversation. Let's scroll down a little bit more through all these comments here. Someone is asking, there are several third-party organizations like Range Me that charge to get independent brands into independent stores. They charge a ton of money. Is this something the NGA Foundation could lead under its diversity initiative? Startup brands can't afford to pay fees to get introduced. Interesting that I can answer that in part because NGA actually has a partnership with Range Me on an exclusive collection of emerging brands. And your retailers are able to get access to those brands through the virtue of being a member of NGA. So that is definitely something that's on our mind about wanting to bring emerging brands to market, not only to give a step up to some of those great brands, but these are the kind of brands that help independent grocers stand out among a lot of the larger players. So when you offer these products that people really want and they're different from what the big box stores are offering, that gives us all a leg up. So definitely something that's top of mind here. A question for Dami: what should future grocers do to get prepared for funding?
Start talking to the funding sources early. Let them know your story. Every store, okay, every store is different and every store is unique. Even if it's the same brand and you're going from point A to point B or location A to location B, it is going to be different. So you need to carry, from our own perspective, the funding sources along, and also make sure that when you're ready, meaning your books are in order. You can, and again, we can take this offline. I mean, I don't know if my information is out there, but I'm willing to advise and point you to resources that I can. But there are ways that you can make sure that you tally the stuff that you do every single day, that it adds to everything that you do in your business is an expense, So are you taking care of that? Are you recording what you're doing? Are you making sure that at the end of the day, you have your statements in place? So that's number one. The other thing is look for patient capital. You're a new store, you're an independent store, you're a food co-op, look for patient capital. It might be difficult, but there is patient capital out there. Somebody just talked about HFFIs, the USDA. If you're in the food desert, there's so many opportunities or resources that you can look into for either financing or grants or some form of resources. So that's the and when you get lonely, please reach out. Reach out to your wingman, whoever your wingman is, because you will get lonely, you will get tired, and you would want to quit plenty times, but have a wingman on the journey.
Jim, I've also noticed folks are adding to the chat resources that Dami is referring to and more. So if y'all are interested in looking into financing or finding resources, make sure you scroll through that chat list and write down what some of those resources are, because that's excellent. Jim?
Absolutely. A lot of great information there. Good point, Joy. Question for Percy: what advice can you give about raising funds or taking on investors to open a grocery store?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is, and we had this experience in Louisiana. I got into it at first that I'm thinking like I wanted to open up my own grocery store, but I love what she's doing is like that's a big challenge. I think you got to start with something smaller. I would start with a smaller store first. It's almost like getting into the housing business. Everybody want to go buy the big house, buy the mansion. Start with the smaller houses, understand what's going on. Because a lot of people that I know that try to do this, they end up losing because they didn't know the actual system. So keep educating yourself and keep learning. I think that, we don't know everything and you don't have to know everything. Get the right people on your team. Get the right CEOs to run your business, CFOs to be a part of your company, because it's going to take a team. Running this is not something that a one-man army could do. So make sure you got a great team to be able to do this. And to start with, just keep educating yourself. I mean, she's been talking about it all the time on the thing about she had to go do the different things. You're going to feel to learn. I think knowledge and information is so important. The Bible says pray for wisdom, not for money. I think a lot of people getting into this thinking, how many millions of dollars I'm going to make? What if you don't make that? Like, think about it. It's a process. It's a journey. Don't get to the destination. Stay on the journey. If you stay on the journey, you're going to get to where you need to go at. And so get the right people on your team. Experts. Start with experts.
That's awesome advice.
All right. We've got another member of our audience who looks like they're trying to invent some innovation for the store and is looking for a mechanical engineer or some design services. Not sure anyone on our panel can answer that questions, although I know AWG does have some design services, but I think that's mainly for overall store design. I would suggest to this person, I guess, reach out to us at NGA and we'll see what we can do, because I know we do have some store design and mechanical people among our membership. I'm sure there's folks out there who can assist. Let's scroll down a little bit more and see what else is going on here. A lot of great resources here. Okay. Oh, here we go. What advice would you give to finding sales reps to do merchandising in store?
Katina, would you
Yeah.
like to answer that?
So my distributor was very instrumental in my merchandising in store. So I'm not familiar with anyone else that does that exactly for store, but it was my distributors that helped me do my merchandising for my store and my planogram. I think they would be looking for a planogram too, right? So it is people out there that do planograms, and I do have one resource of a person that I know. They didn't do it for me. That's something that I'm in the process of doing, especially because we are franchising and moving into other stores, and we want to keep the look and the model the same to make sure that you have a planogram. I do have a resource for that, and I could definitely give it to you.
Yeah, just to follow up. So that's something definitely AWG does. I'm not sure where your location is, but for merchandising, planograms, setting up your store, that's something definitely we can definitely look at.
Yeah, I think that most wholesalers have that service that they provide. Jim, any more?
Yes, I think we actually have time for one more. We have about 2 minutes or 3 minutes left to go, so time for one more question, and then sort of a sum up. Let's see. I'm curious to know what the panelists' thoughts are on the role of organizations like Black Farmers United in New York, a statewide advocacy, education, and mutual aid organization, what role they can play to uplift Black grocers. I have some thoughts on this myself, but I would always want to hear what folks directly engaged in these industries think.
So is anybody familiar with that organization? I'm not in New York either.
Maybe not that specific organization, but other ones that are like that you might be familiar with in other areas.
Yeah, I think what I want to say is that I'm all for it and I'm happy that we are doing this, but I want to change the mindset to where it's not just Black organizations. It's like we want to be able to control and own these things, but we want to make products for everybody. And I just think that's my focus is getting bigger. It's just like what she said about having a store where it's serving the community, serving everybody in the community. And I think that's the way we need to think too. Like I want to create products that are owned by us, but for everybody. And I think that's when we're going to start building economic empowerment. But I also want to be able to get with AWG and say, how do we get our products out there to everybody? And how do we market those, through these places, especially when you're dealing with the independent chain grocery stores. So I want the mom and pop stores are so important to us. And I also want to talk about creating that cereal that is more healthy, but I'm also want to be able to get this product inside the store so we can have some African American owned products in stores, and then we grow and evolve in being able to make other products that has healthy alternatives. So I want our people to know that, but I want us to think bigger to where we want to make products for everybody. But we do need to add some diversity into these grocery stores. by creating African American owned products, owned, but products for everybody.
That that is excellent. I think that is the direction that, I mean, I think if we say it and hear it more often, I think hopefully it will resonate and start to become a reality. And I applaud NGA for taking the time to understand this issue and to